Hello, this is Seth David with Daily Motivator number 105. And I want to talk about what happens, how do we deal with difficult people? This can be a difficult topic for a lot of people because we deal with it in business. We have clients that are difficult. We deal with it in our personal lives. We have friends that are difficult. We have relatives who can be difficult. How do we deal with those people? I guess the first decision we have to make is if we deal with those people. Because in many cases, it's just not worth it. It's just not worth spending the time on somebody. I know I've talked about things along these lines before in previous Daily Motivators. Is not everybody's worth dealing with. There are some people that you reach a point with them and in your life where you just say, you know what, I'm not willing to deal with somebody like this anymore. And that's going to apply probably to people you do business with if you have the choice. If you're an employee of a company, you don't have as much choice about who you deal with. But if you're in business for yourself, you have a choice. You can choose not to deal with customers that are difficult. You can also choose to set parameters based on which you're willing to work with them if they're difficult. So what I've done in my own business is when a customer doesn't pay or takes a really long time to pay, what I've done is I've come back to them once. First of all, I've stopped services. Second of all, I've gotten them paid up. And then once they've paid up, I've said to them, okay, just based on this experience, you have to understand going forward, I'm not willing to work with you on terms. I need to be paid in advance. And if I'm paid in advance, I'm willing to work with you. And I'll bill out whatever you paid in advance, and and then we'll need another payment to continue, because otherwise it's my own fault for continuing to do business with somebody who refuses to pay or refuses to pay on time. That's the business aspect. Now the difficult one is the family, because sometimes we have family members who are difficult, but they're family. So we want to think along the lines of, I can't just excommunicate myself from a family member necessarily. The reality is you can, but it's not easy, because you have other family members that you do want to talk to, and they're in communication with the person you might want to excommunicate from your life. So it's not quite as simple. Friends, business associates, a little easier. With family members, it becomes much more challenging. So what do? We have to basically take the business example of setting the right parameters in place, I think, when it comes to family members. When it comes to people who we really feel we don't have the choice of saying, I'm just not going to have that person in my life anymore because they're a family member, or whatever the dynamics are that precipitate not really being able to cut them out of our lives completely, then we have to be able to set parameters. We have to be able to almost set rules. And I said the other day that I don't like the idea of setting boundaries. In some cases, people don't leave us with a choice. We have to be able to say, hey, you know what? I'm only willing to deal with you on these terms. It's really like a business relationship. And say, here are my terms. If you're going to talk to me, you're going to have to talk to me with respect. If you're going to talk to me, if you're going to engage with me, here are the rules. I have to teach you how to get along with me. And that's the way those kinds of things work. And it takes a lot of work. It's not a simple thing of doing this, and that, and it's all good. It takes a lot of work and practice. You're a miracle. Get excited about today.